Today, I want to teach you a new way to play 4-player kill team. I know a lot of people's initial response will be like, well, that's easy. You just have 4 players, each one sets up a kill team, and you either have a free-for-all or 2 teams of 2. But I think that's not the best way to do it, and let me explain why. First of all, you have doubled the number of operatives on the board, and this causes a couple of issues. For one, the game will take about twice as long because there's twice the numbers of models. And 2, the board is twice as crowded. And since Kill Team is all about positioning and stealth and trying to outmaneuver your opponent, with that many models on the board, it completely breaks the game. Another solution I see people do is they double the board size. So this makes a lot of sense because roughly operative per square foot would be the same. So it won't be as crowded. But I don't think this is a great solution either. For one, because everyone will start farther apart, it means shooting teams are way better than melee. Another is for teams like Death Guard that have slower movement speed, they'll never get across the map. If they're trying to get to an objective marker on the other side of the arena, they're just not going to get there. So a way to compensate for that is add more turning points so you have more time to get across the board. But that also doesn't work. Because what happens is more operatives means a longer game. If you add more turning points to that, you're going to be there for hours. It's going to take forever to get through a match. So, if all those methods aren't ideal, what should you do? The solution I came up with is what you're going to do is run a 2v2 game, but each player basically has half of what they normally would. So I made a guide for this, but basically each player is just going to have a reduced kill team. So you'll have about half of your operatives, half of your equipment, and half of the CP to run ploys. This way, when all 4 players are on the board, the game should look roughly the same. Granted, you might have something weird like Sisters of Battle working with Necrons, but ignoring the lore implications of that, it should look like a normal kill team board. So how you play this is you'll separate into 2 teams of 2. And each teammate will pick a different kill team faction. These factions don't have to make sense lore-wise unless you just want to put that restriction in yourself. I thought about doing that, but then there's teams like Necrons that just don't work with anyone, so I didn't really want to do that and limit a bunch of teams from being able to partner with anyone else. So at this point, when you build your actual kill team list, you're not going to follow the regular rules. You're going to use the list builder that I have attached down below, and that will help you make your reduced kill team. So that's a totally free PDF, just Google Drive document. I'll have it linked down below. So the way I have this broken down, it's basically matched play. So that means you get equipment, but you only get 5 points worth of equipment for your kill team. And then for CP, each player gets 1 CP during the first turning point, and then each turning point after you'll get 1. So each player has their own pool of CP, and throughout the match, each player will get 4. I think in a regular kill team game, you get 7. So this combined means your team will get 8 throughout the game. So that should end up meaning roughly the same amount of ploys are used throughout a match. So you and your teammate will actually share your secondary missions. So if either of you are running a kill team that have faction-specific missions, you can run those. Or you can use an archetype from either one of your kill teams. So once you're actually playing the game and you're all set up, basically what you're going to do is you and your teammate will alternate who is activating a model, and you can only activate your own models. You can't activate your teammates. So for example, if player A and B are on team 1, and then player C and D are on team 2, throughout a turning point, the order has to stay the same. So it could be player A, C, B, D, then back to A. But then on each turning point, when it comes to your team's first turn, you get to decide which player will activate first. Also, with Overwatch, this does change. That's another major change from regular kill team, because of those alternating activations. So basically, if it gets to your turn, and you've activated all of your models, and your teammate hasn't, you still get to do Overwatch. So on a team, you can be doing Overwatch actions, even if all the models haven't activated, as long as all of yours have. But each model can only Overwatch once. That hasn't changed. So basically, just to make it where it's not as bad for elite teams, If it's your turn, you've activated all of your models, and you don't have an eligible Overwatch action you can do, you can then pass that turn onto your teammate. So if I've activated all of my models, I've done all of my Overwatch actions, but my teammate still has models to activate, I can then pass my turn on to him. So then it would just be going back and forth between that teammate and the two opponents. Also note here, if a player gets tabled, they can no longer do anything. So if you have ploys or abilities that could help your teammate, but all of your operatives get removed, you can't do anything to help them. They're basically on their own at that point. So like regular kill team, after 4 turning points, the winner is the person with the most victory points. And for scoring primary and secondary objectives, for anything where it wants to calculate the number of operatives or APL, that's a team APL total, not each individual player. So I know I didn't cover everything here. There's a lot more details in that guide that I talked about. Because of all the list building rules, it's over 30 pages long because I like to nerd out on stuff like this if you haven't noticed. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments or check that out. And feel free to do kind of weird stuff like this. Like, if you want to take this same general concept, if you have 3 players, what you could do is have one player playing on their own, and the other 2 opponents use these list building rules to have 2 smaller teams. So it can be a 1v2 situation. Just have fun with it and let me know what you come up with. Thank you for watching.